Hello again. It's Marilyn here with Stamping Staycation, here to hopefully work this time. Can you let me know if you can hear the sound, because I am using my phone directly this time instead of my computer, and I'm not sure if I have the sound settings right on there. But again, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. I hope you've had a great day. Maybe my computer's just getting tired, like maybe you guys are after so much. Good, thank you. I can see that you're hearing me, so that's great. I will carry on then. So what I was starting to say, what I tried to say before, and of course was choppy, is that I've done some research, and today is National Day of Encouragement. So thank you for encouraging me to keep going. Otherwise I could have just throw up my hands and say, can't do this. But I'm here for you. I'm here to try this, and I'm going to share some more things about color with you. So bear with me again while I try to figure out how to work this just on my phone. So there, you get to see my best messy. What was that? Just give me half a sec here. I'm not as good as Lillian at this because I don't do it this way very often. And I'm assuming you can see my desktop. Please and thank you. I see that some people are watching, which is great. Okay, so here I have some ink refills. I'm going to show you some things that you can do with ink refills. And I have a habit, and I think it's a good habit, of buying a refill every time I buy a stamp pad. So these are the 5 new in colors. You probably already know what they are. I'm not going to go through that part. But it did take a while to get these two, the cinnamon cider and the bumblebee, because they were back ordered for whatever reason. But I have them all now. And there are lots of things that you can do with ink refills. I do have some cards here I'm going to show you shortly, and then I'm going to show you, as you probably guessed from the heading that I've put on this, is that we're going to do something with shaving cream. So ink refills are used to re-ink stamp pads. Quite obvious on that one, I think. Stampin' Spots. Stampin' Up! Now sells little Stampin' Spots, which are great to ink in each color if you want to use them for the Stamparatus, so you're not getting ink all over your plates. You can create your own ink pads with baby wipes. I have done that, and you get a variety of colors. You can put one color, more than one color, and stamp with it. And I have done that in my card clubs, but I've never saved it before. And recently I read that you could store that in a Ziploc bag and come back and use it later. You can apply color with a water brush, which is what Joanne did earlier, just on a block. You can mist it with mixing it with water or alcohol in a spritzer. And you can add Wink of Stella to it for a bit of shimmer to use. You can mist it over a stencil. So if you have it in the mister, over a stencil works great. You can add color to embossing paste, which there are lots of great samples of that out there. I don't have that one for you today. It dries a lot faster than the shaving cream does, so I'm not using it. You can do paint splatters with it, similar to what Joanne and Lillian both did with the marker. You can do it and just splatter it all over your background. Shaving cream, the foam kind. Just use random dots, and I'm going to show you this part. Use random drops, mix with a palette knife, lay your card on top, and it turns out great. It turns out more like a rainbow kind of thing modeled. You can use it for block stamping, and there's another technique. I'm calling it a background protector, page protector background. If you take the plastic page protector, put your ink inside it, put your paper in, actually have 2 pieces of them, and then squish it together. It actually makes 2 of them, and there will be backgrounds for your cards, And again, no two will be the same. So I will move my little ink refills. They're not overly expensive. I'm going to guess, if I remember correctly, like about $5.50. They last a long time. I've had this basic gray, as you can tell by the packaging, for a lot of years, and there's still a little bit in there. Oh, quite a bit actually. So I'll probably use it. I did buy another one in case, but I will probably use it in our project today. So I just wanted to show you a few samples first. Then I'm going to do the project. Then I'm going to show you more samples using the Moose Stamp Set and Punch and some of the backgrounds that I have. So this one I did with block stamping. So I don't have a big block here, but basically your ink on your block, spritz it with water, and apply it to the paper. And no two again will be the same. This one I did with the water brushes. Just recently in one of my Facebook Lives. This one is the watercolor paper done with the drops and just let it dry. And this one is done with the new brush from that water brushes, the wider one. So just one strip across, and it worked great. Love doing those cards. So, carrying on. Now I'm going to show you what you need for doing this. Let's see if looks like my camera's working okay. I happen to have this in my craft cupboard. Must have used it before. So just a plate of some sort that you don't care if it gets ink on it. And like I say, this one is a roast or a cake pan of some sort. The lid's still even attached, but you also need foamy shaving cream. You probably need something to stir it, like a palette knife like this. I have seen people use their bone folder, and that is not why this one's green, but it would work as well. I've seen people use a pen, whatever. You will need something like a credit card, old credit card, or hotel key card. Some of us save them, as you can see. And then I use them actually as samples in cards if I'm doing a craft show where you want cards to show that you can use gift cards in them. So you will need something like that. So I just want to warn you, I did try this shaving cream earlier, and I have a terrible time getting the cream out of it. So I went ahead, and actually hubby had one like this upstairs that he was using, so it worked well, so I went and bought another one. So basically what we have to do with it is put some in a pan or on a plate, like a tin pie plate. That's probably enough to do 20 cards in there now. So I would do that with it, and then whoops, here I am using the wrong thing. Look at that. There it is. Just kind of make it a little bigger than the size of the cardstock you want to use. Then add your ink, and again, you can do 1 color, 2 colors, 3 colors. I'm going to show you some that I did other colors at the end. So this is gray. Because I'm using the Moose stamp, in my world, it should be a gray or a brown background. And get my pieces straight here. So then I would take my palette knife and I would just I don't know if any of you have ever done cake icing like this. I have. My mom used to be an awesome cake decorator, wedding cakes and whatever. And then, oh, great, gotta find my piece of paper. You would end up taking your piece of cardstock, and I usually use, like my next layer down would be the 5 by 4 1/4, and you just push it into the shaving cream. And you can see ink coming through there, but that's okay. Then You pull it off, and that's where the gift card comes in, is that you scrape the shaving cream back into your dish. And that's going to be my design. So, like I say, that could make many, many more cards. I've never done it and then put it back, the same piece back in there, but definitely if you have a lot of pieces of cardstock cut, you could keep stamping, virtually is what it is. So I'm not going to wait for that to dry, obviously. I do have another one done. And like I say, this one I've done with the gray. Any color works. These are some of the ones I did getting ready for this project. I've done these on crumb cake, so that's a blue. There's a blue-green. There's the gray on crumb cake, so quite a difference. A blue on the white. A blue, probably Cajun craze, maybe, I don't know, some kind of yellow on the green. And one I did a while ago that I was really tickled with how it turned out, and it was a big tray I used that day. I had, back when we could get 12 by 12 in any color, I used to hold scrapbooking classes, and I wanted sand for a beach scene for my ladies, so I did white with, I believe it was crumb cake, and made the 12 by 12 pages for them, and they turned out awesome. I did them beforehand. I didn't let them do them because they wouldn't be dry to actually work with. So obviously you need lots of paper towel when you're doing this as well. So that is the dried copy. So again, where did I put it? You can certainly see that you don't ever get two the same. They're always going to be different. So I love doing that one. And besides, you know what? You're not here, but I can tell you, please believe me, that it does smell awesome. So my card that I'm going to put it together to show you, is one with the moose, which is a returning set, the stamp set and the punch. So they go together. I have 2 or 3 family members with birthdays in the fall, and they are hunters. So not only do I use this as a Christmas card, but I also use it for birthday cards. So I have my, and again, as we've all mentioned all day, is the shaving cream off my bone folder. The sizes and everything will be in your your handout. So I'm not going to try and remember those. But there is my background. But before I put it on there, you may have noticed that I do have some greenery, trees stamped on the back. So I'm going to do that. And from the stamp set, I used, whatever this is, Mossy Meadow. And I used the larger tree. And I did a lot of the stamping off. I started off the edge and moved it down a little bit, up, down. If you've ever been in a spruce forest, you will know that it does look something like that. We used to, my dad was a logger in the winter quite often, and we used to go out in the trees and whatever with him as he was cutting the trees. So we know about those kind of things. So that's my background. For this, just a sec here, I have some pieces. I used the smaller tree, and again, a stamp on, stamp off kind of thing. Reminds you of that show, Mr. Miyagi, where he trained the boxer or whatever it was, right? And I did emboss little stars on the top of them because I'm trying to see if you guys can see that. I do like having my tree with something on it. So I'm going to, and again, like Lillian's, I have quite the Versamark pad, just stamp the two little stars. I have learned, since Lillian posted that comment in another video, to put my embossing buddy with my Versamark. Great tip, Lillian, thank you. I have started using a new silver embossing powder, and partly because when we were getting ready for this back in, oh, I don't know, July, I guess, probably, I tried doing the scarf for the mousse, and we were on a call with Lillian and Joanne, and I said, you know, it just did not turn out. Like, it's all bubbly and it's weird. And they both said at the time, is your embossing powder old? I said, well, yeah, it's probably since I started. Like, it doesn't take much to do anything. Yes, Darlene, Karate Kid, that's the one I was thinking of. So I did get rid of that embossing powder and started this one, and it works way better. Here is my finished one, which I did beforehand. And considering the issues I just had, it's lucky I did. So that's going to go on there. But what Lillian and Joanne have both told me is it depends on your embossing powder. It depends on how often it's opened and out in the humidity makes a difference. If it's not working, which is what happened with mine, and I did not save that piece to try and show you, but I did do the scarf for the mousse, and it was, like I say, it was not shiny. It was totally not good. So I was glad that they were close by and I could get an answer like that. So if you're having issues, I believe Lillian said the gold was worse for her. The clear seems to be good. So just don't get frustrated with it. Try, make sure your Versamark is inked, and you can buy a re-inker for that. Make sure it's inked properly, and then check how long you've had your embossing powder. I know Lillian or Joanne, one of them today said they put a date on it, which might be a good idea, but still, if it's not a time-sensitive thing, I think it's still just trial and error. So anyway, I have those ready. I have my mousse, which is just punched out with this amazing punch. I have to tell you too, when I have a monthly card club, and I did a card recently with the mousse on it, and one of the ladies was just beside herself. A mousse is not Christmas in her world. And so everybody's different, and I don't hold that against her or anything. It's fine. So I have already embossed this, like I have already embossed those. With the heat tool, I'm going to glue that with liquid glue, because I can then wiggle it if I need to. Sorry, I got some of that dead air that the ladies were talking about here, but you guys can chat amongst yourselves for a minute while I put his scarf on him. So that is that piece. Now I do have, and this great array of stuff I have over here. I have my silver for behind, and that is, as Joanne mentioned, we've got a lot of stitched frame things happening here today. Don't need that piece anymore. I do need my cherry cobbler. That is the color of paper that I'm using. And I'm going to stamp it and bring in the cut and emboss. I'm like Joanne, I'm having trouble remembering not to call it a big shot, but as we mentioned, whoa, it is a, see how much of it you can see here. I have the stitch shapes, they're called. So there's squares, ovals, and circles in that particular set. I will be ordering the magnetic plate to go with this as soon as I can, because I miss it from on the Big Shot. But because this cuts so smoothly and whatever, you can just run it through and you don't have to worry about cutting it a couple times or whatever. So that is my greeting. And now, do we have all the pieces? No, we need our ribbon. So again, in the essence of doing color as we are, I found that I could color this metallic, it's got all languages, metallic edge ribbon. I've got the white, and by using the wide, no, I'm not sure if I used the marker or the, you know what, I might have used the blends. Let me try the marker. Marker works, just takes a little longer. I have the blends over in my other project across the room, so. And actually with this, it's maybe a little bit blotchier, but it will match the paper perfectly because of the way Stampin' Up! Does things, and maybe that kind of goes with my modeled background, hey? So then I will need to start by putting it together. I'm going to, you see it comes through on either side when you do that too. Going to use the glue dots, just like Joanne did on hers. I believe it was Joanne, showing you how to attach your, that didn't work very well, how to attach your baker's twine. Would really work if it came off of there. Try it again. There, got it. Oh, I feel it. It's on my finger now. So if you don't have ribbon the color of what you're using the blends or the marker like that is a great way to okay, quit giving me grief here. There. Okay. So I have my base, I have my shaving cream background that I'm going to put on with our Stampin' Seal. Keep working, keep working. And because I've cut this paper the other way, it opens sideways instead of up and down. I like to turn my cards over and burnish them because my hands have always got something on them and I don't want it on there. My little tree square goes on my cherry cobbler. And that I am going to put with, oh, I didn't. Probably because I don't want it too thick. I know someone earlier today asked if the thicker cards would go through the mail. And because I do mail a lot of cards, I want to make sure they go through. So I am very conscious of that as I'm making my cards. The silver. And if I would have used gold, I could have had gold here, gold ribbon, and gold here, because we do have all of those. And my little words. My mini dimensionals work just dandy on this. And I tend to use my fingernails. I have tried the Take Your Pick tool. Whoops. And it does work, but try to get that as straight as possible. And then for the moose, I didn't put anything on his legs because they stick down below here, but I will put a couple of dimensionals on his horns, and then maybe a couple big ones on his body, because we don't want him running away when we're done with this. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm supposed to be telling you. Probably not. I know we've already asked about you making Christmas cards. Hopefully today has given you some great ideas for carrying on with that and doing that. And you know what? I didn't on my sample, but I am going to on this one. I have some of these cute little red rhinestones, and I think he needs an eye. What do you think? I can just hear my granddaughter saying, but Grandma, he can't see. So there, he's got an eye. So there is the card. So now I want to show you a couple things that I did. Well, first of all, what a mess. Somehow we all do that. I have one that I did with crumb cake on white and a little bit of, it looks like it turned a little bit green, but I think it was more, it was after about 3 stamps, or 3 times in the shaving cream. I've got one that I did with the designer paper and the background stamp for the birch. And here's the red eyes again. Oh, I got that guy's eyes in the right place. Happiest of holidays. Then I went to, okay, I've got all of this designer paper left, or not designer paper, put that on the brain. All of the paper that I had made getting here. So what can I do with it? So I took, first of all, this one with the yellows and the greens, and I did the daisy punch, the butterfly punch, and I've embossed the background. I'm going to guess maybe bumblebee, but I'm not positive. Paper there, so a happy birthday card. So again, shaving cream done there. I did one for those of you that are pink lovers. Look at this one. I've done pink and gray. So the 2 of them. And you find with this technique, if you mix it lots, it's going to get what I would call muddy looking. So you don't want to mix it like a cake. You just want to kind of swirl through it. So that is using the, whatever this one's called, Magenta Madness. Then I did, that must be Bumblebee, because I'm going through Just Jade. So this one, I took this piece that I had with the green and the blue. I had run it through a embossing folder, and I don't know, yeah, you probably can see the embossing whatever on it. And I thought it looked like balloons, so I did a number of balloons and a embossing folder behind it for happy birthday. Then I took the waterfront, I believe it is, stamp set, and made my background, and here is my sand beach. So I just used the crumb cake paper, probably crumb cake ink by the looks of it, and then just tore it to make a beach there. So another sample, and then partly through all of this, Lillian and Joanne can tell you, I was always talking about a Northern Lights card. And I worked and worked and worked at it. I've got, well, wasn't going to show you this one, but I do have this one that I tried. It was okay, but it wasn't what I really liked. And I came up with this one, and this one I am pleased with. Living in northern Alberta, we have seen Northern Lights. We like them. We have been to Alaska and the Yukon, and the lights there are amazing. So I wanted something that reminded me of that, and this is what I came up with. And for this one, I did stamp the moose and then punched it out. I stamped the outline of the moose on the dark cardstock and punched it out. And this is from that set that I used this morning with the freeze and fun die, doing the bank sort of thing. So those are my cards with that. I have a number of them because this set was out last year that I will just kind of pass by you here to see with the moose done with just a red, a bit of gold. Another one, some of these products are retired. This designer paper, but it does show you that you don't need to stamp it anywhere. You can just punch it. Another designer paper that is retired, but here's a gold tie. And there is no die for that. You do cut it out. That's why this piece happens to be laying here. Another one, this stamp set is back. I believe that's the one that came back this year as well. And this set is still current. So that's background again with that one. Another one with an embossing folder on the background. This paper is retired, but the stamp set is all from here. So, and some of those may have been swaps from some of you. I'm not sure. Looks like I've touched everything that was on my desk. So I think that is probably it. It's been great having you all with us today. And I look forward to seeing all of your posts in the challenges. Hopefully you can take some of these ideas and work with them and share with us. So until about 4 o'clock, we're going to do a wrap up. So I will sign off for now, and we will see you then. Thanks, everyone.